is Dr. D. Govardhan, Professor and Head, Department of Aeronautical Engineering, Institute of Aeronautical Engineering, Hyderabad. Today we are discussing compositions and resolution of forces, composition of concurrent forces by method of resolutions. The process of splitting up the given force into number of components without changing its effect on the body is called resolution of a force. A force is generally resolved into two rectangular components. That means they are now perpendicular to each other. Preferably one is in x direction and another is in y directions. These type of components are called rectangular component. The resolution is the reverse process of addition of the components of vectors. Principle of resolutions. Generally, it is used for determining resultant force acting on a body when the several forces are acting on it. It states that the algebraic sum of the resolved parts of a number of forces in a given direction is equal to the resolved part of their resultant in the same directions. In general, the forces are resolved in vertical and horizontal directions. Here, let F1, F2, F3 and F4 are acting on a body. When they are resolved into x direction and y directions, the algebraic sum of the component of forces which are acting along the x direction, it should be equal to the x component of resultant force. Similarly, the algebraic sum of the components which are acting in y direction is equal to the y component of resultant force of the several forces which are acting on it. So in this process, first of all, resolve the forces horizontally and find out the algebraic sum of all the horizontal components. It is treated as sigma h now. Similarly, resolve all the forces into their vertical components and find the sum of the horizontal component of all the forces. Generally, it is represented as sigma b now. Then sigma h is treated as the horizontal component of the resultant force. It is represented as Rx. Similarly, Ry is equal to sigma v now. Since they are rectangular components, hence the resultant is given by R square is equal to sum of sigma h square plus sigma v square, or R is equal to under root of sigma h whole square plus sigma v whole square now. Since the force is the vector component, it should be represented both in magnitude and directions. Hence, the direction of the force with the horizontal is given by theta is equal to tan inverse of sigma v divided by sigma h now. When both the components sigma v as well as sigma h both are positive, that means according to the relation of quadrants, it belongs to first quadrant. Hence, the resultant force should be lies between 0 to 90 degrees. When sigma v is a positive and sigma h is a negative, that means it lies between 90 to 180, that is the second quadrant. Similarly, when sigma h and sigma v both are negative, then the resultant lies in third quadrant. That means it makes an angle between 180 degrees to 90 degrees now. When sigma h is a positive and sigma v is a negative, then the resultant lies in fourth quadrant. That means that angle, it makes an angle of 270 to 360 degrees now. Here in example now, let four forces are acting, F1, F2, F3 and F4 at a given point on a body, which is shown in figure. These forces are resolved into two rectangular components, which is shown in figure 1a. Let theta 1 be the angle made by the force F1 with the x direction when measured in anti-clockwise directions. Then the horizontal component is given by F1 cos theta 1 and vertical component is F1 sin theta 2, which is represented in a figure 1a shown in figure now. Similarly, the second force there now, F2, it is making an angle of t theta 2 with respect to the x direction measured in clockwise direction as shown in figure. When it is resolved in two components, horizontal and vertical components, the vertical component is given by F2 sin theta 2. It is acting in upward directions. And F2 cos theta is the horizontal component. It is acting toward the left side as shown in figure. Similarly, the figure F3 is there now. When it is resolved into two components, F3 cos theta 3 is acting toward the left side along the horizontal directions. And F3 sin theta 3, it is acting downward directions. It is treated as the vertical component. It is shown in figure 1c now. The fourth force, F4, which is making an angle of theta 4 with respect to the positive x directions. When it is resolved into two components, the horizontal component is equal to F4 cos theta 4 and vertical component is F4 sin theta 4 now. The horizontal component is acting toward the right side, hence it is treated as positive, and vertical component is F4 sin theta 4 is acting downward directions, it is treated as negative now. Then the sum of the horizontal component of all the forces which are acting on a body is given by sigma h. It is equal to F1 cos theta 1 minus of F2 cos theta 2 minus of F3 cos theta 3 plus F4 cos theta 4. This algebraic sum should be equal to the horizontal component of the resultant force of F1, F2, F3 and F4. Similarly, the vertical sum of the vertical components of all the forces given by F1 sin theta 1 plus F2 sin theta 2 minus of F3 sin theta 3 and minus of F4 sin theta 4 now. That means here the component of forces which are acting in upward direction are treated as positive. The component of forces which are acting in downward direction are treated as negative. The algebraic sum is given by F1 sin theta 1 plus F2 sin theta 2 minus of F3 sin theta 3 minus F4 sin theta 4. This sum should be equal to the vertical component of the resultant force acting on it. So generally these are represented as sigma h and sigma v. Then resultant R is equal to under root of sigma h whole square plus sigma v whole square. Its direction is given by tan theta is equal to sigma v divided by sigma h. R is also equal to theta is equal to tan inverse of sigma v divided by sigma h now. Okay, this method is generally preferable for finding the magnitude and direction of resultant force, may be coplanar or non-coplanar, concurrent or non-concurrent forces. Here the problem is showing now, a system of forces are acting on the corners of the rectangular block as shown in figure. Determine the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. Here in this figure now, A, B, C and D are representing the vertices of square now. At A, 25 kilonewtons force is acting now toward the left side in horizontal. At B, 50 kilonewton force is acting in vertical directions, in downward directions. Similarly, at C, 20 kilonewtons acting horizontally toward the left side. And at D, 35 kilonewton force is acting in downward directions. So the sum of the horizontal components is equal to here 25 minus of 20, which is equal to 5 kilonewtons. Okay, in this case, the forces which are acting toward the right side are treated as positive, and the forces which are acting toward the left side are treated as negative forces. Similarly, While taking algebraic sum of vertical components, the forces which are acting in downward directions are treated as negative. Example 50 kilonewtons is the negative. Similarly, 35 kilonewtons also acting in downward direction, so it is also treated as negative. The sum of vertical components is equal to minus 50 plus minus of 35, which is equal to minus of 85 kilonewtons. The magnitude of resultant force is given by R is equal to under root of sigma h whole square plus sigma v whole square, which is equal to under root of 5 whole square plus minus of 85 whole square, which is equal to 85.15 kilonewtons is given. Let theta be the angle which the resultant force makes with the horizontal. Tan theta is equal to sigma v divided by sigma h now, which is equal to minus of 18 divided by 5, which is equal to 86 degrees now. Since here sigma h is a positive and sigma v is the negative, hence it belongs to fourth quadrant. That means the resultant force lies between 270 to 360 degrees now. When it is measured with respect to the x-axis now, then the theta is given by 360 minus of 86.6 degrees, which is equal to 273.4 degrees, which is measured in anti-clockwise direction with respect to the x-axis. In second problem, the forces 20 newtons, 30 newtons, 40 newtons, 50 newtons and 60 newtons. These 5 forces are acting on angular points of regular pentagon towards the other 5 angular points taken in order. Find the magnitude and direction of the resultant force of a given force as shown in figure 5 now. So here it is a regular pentagon is given now. All the forces are meeting at a point A and they are now acting, passing through the vertices of the pentagon as shown in figure. That is from A, it passing through point B, C, D, E and F as shown in figure. Okay, according to the given problem, so the force which is acting in the direction of AB is given 20 newtons. Here, according to our convenient, we have taken it is in horizontal directions. The second force which is making an angle of 30 degrees with respect to the AB and passing through point C, 30 newtons. Similarly, from D, the total cumulative angle now becomes 60 degrees with respect to the positive x direction, 40 newtons. Similarly, from E point to it is 90 degrees is given now, that is 50 newtons is acting. At 120 degrees, that is 60 newton force they are acting now. Now, resolving all the forces horizontally, now it becomes the sum of the component of horizontal forces is equal to 20 cos 0 plus 30 cos 30 plus 40 cos 60 plus 50 cos 90 plus 60 cos 120 degrees. Here, all are we have taken positive because we are measuring these angles with respect to the x-axis in counterclockwise directions without considering which quadrant it belongs to. So, on substituting the values, we got to cos 0 is equal to 1, cos 30 is equal to 0.866, plus cos 60 is equal to 0.5, cos 90 is equal to 0, and cos 120 is equal to, we can take it as 180 minus 60 or cos 60, or it may be it is equal to sin 30 and so on, 90 plus 30. So, based on the trigonometric relations we got in second quadrant, cos is a negative, hence 60 into minus 0.5. So, the total sum now becomes 36.0 now. Similarly, resolve all the forces vertically, since all the forces are acting in upward direction only with respect to the point A or in horizontal x-axis. So, the sum of the vertical components is equal to 20 into sin 0 plus 30 into sin 30 plus 40 into sin 60 plus 50 into sin 90 plus 60 into sin 120 degrees On substitute the values of sin 0 is equal to 0, sin 30 is equal to 1 by root 2, and sin 60 and 90 values, 120 values, and so on. Finally, we got to sigma v is equal to 151.6 newtons. So, according to the relation of right angle triangle, the resultant force R is given by under root of sigma h whole square plus sigma v whole square. On substituting these values, we got sigma h is equal to 36.0 whole square plus 151.6 whole square. It gives 155.8 newtons. This is the magnitude of the resultant force. Similarly, the direction of resultant force with respect to the positive x-axis is given by assume theta. Tan theta is equal to sigma v divided by sigma h, which is equal to 151.6 divided by 36.0, or theta is equal to tan inverse of 151.6 divided by 36.0, which is equal to 86.6 degrees. Since both the horizontal and vertical components are positive, that means the resultant force always lies in first quadrant. Hence, that means from 0 to 90 degrees, hence theta is equal to 76.6 degrees. This is our required answer. Similarly, one more problem. The following forces are acted at a point. One is 20 newtons inclined at 30 degrees toward the north of east. Second one, 25 newtons toward the north. Third force, 30 newtons toward the northwest. And fourth, 35 newtons inclined at 40 degrees toward the south of west. Find the magnitude and direction of the resultant force. Okay, these forces are represented on a figure now. So, here we are taken just x-axis and y-axis now. The positive x-axis is here treated as east, negative x-axis is west. Similarly, positive y-axis north, and negative y-axis is treated as south now. Okay, based on this directions, we represented the force 20 newtons, 25 newtons, 30 newtons, and 35 newtons in the figure now. The resultant of these four forces, it is obtained by resolving the forces into rectangular components, and the horizontal component of resultant force is equal to the algebraic sum of horizontal component of all the forces now. Hence, sigma h is equal to, we can take it as 20 cos 30 degrees plus 25 into cos 90 degrees plus 30 into cos 135 degrees plus 35 into cos 220 degrees now. So, on substituting the values now, 20 into cos 30 is equal to 0.86 plus 25 cos 90 is equal to 0 plus 30 into minus of 0.707 plus 35 into minus of 0.766 and so on. So, which is equal to minus of 30.7 newtons. This is the algebraic sum of horizontal component of these four forces which are acting at a given point O now. Similarly, resolve the forces vertically. The sum of the vertical components should be equal to the component of resultant force. Here sigma v is equal to 20 into sin 30 plus 25 into sin 90 plus 30 into sin 135 plus 35 into sin 220 degrees. So, which is equal to 20 into 0.5 plus 25 into 1 plus 30 into 0.707 plus 35 into minus of 0.6428. These are the values obtained after substituting the values of cos 30 degrees, cos 90 and cos 135 and 220 degrees now. So, R is equal to under root of sigma h whole square plus sigma v whole square, which is equal to under root of minus 30.7 whole square plus 33.7 whole square, which is equal to 45.6 newtons. So, the direction of the resultant force is equal to given by, if it is a theta is the angle made by the resultant force with the east, that is the positive x-axis, then tan theta is equal to sigma v divided by sigma h, which is equal to 33.7 divided by minus of 30.7, which is equal to minus of 1.098 now, which is equal to 47.7 degrees now. Since sigma h is the negative and sigma b is the positive, hence it belongs to second quadrant. So the theta lies between 90 to 180 degrees. Hence the actual angle made by the resultant force is given by, when it is measured with respect to the x-axis, 180 minus 47.7 degrees, which is equal to 132.3 degrees now.
Like, share and subscribe. Hit the bell icon for more updates.